Hey guys, Boss and Ramos. This Sunday, the Miami Dolphins will be hosting the New York Jets January 8th with a playoff chance on the line. Notice I said chance and not berth. Dolphins could have ensured things last week by winning against the New England Patriots and pretty much securing themselves a playoff berth for the first time since 2016. But now they are trailing the Patriots. So the Patriots hold the 7th seed, but they are facing the Buffalo Bills, and the Dolphins are right behind them in the 8th spot. Then comes the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then given what happens tonight on Saturday night with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tennessee Titans, if Jacksonville loses this matchup, the Tennessee Titans win the division, and then the Jaguars will be the 9th seed, and they will need a couple things to go their way. If should they lose and still have a chance to make the playoffs, but pretty much it's simple for either one of those teams tonight is win and you're in for the Tennessee Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars. But for the Miami Dolphins, they need the New England Patriots to lose and themselves to win, the Miami Dolphins to win. Other scenarios in the playoffs, just so we can make things clear for you guys, is New England loses, Miami loses, Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh is in. Now, if the Jaguars lose tonight and the New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, and Pittsburgh Steelers lose, the Jaguars get it. So that's a wild turn of events if that's the case. Which I wouldn't mind seeing that if that's the scenario that is going to unfold tonight. But I'm pretty sure the Jaguars will win. They're looking like the better team. Things are not looking good for the Tennessee Titans. But there's more playoff news. I'm going to show you guys little screenshots of what the news has come out with the NFL. But I'm going to highlight one main thing, and that's this second photo. You guys can pause throughout this time if you want to just read it yourselves. But this is a proposal that has been passed, and it is that the AFC Championship games will be played at a neutral site if the participating teams played an unequal number of games and both could have been the number one seed and hosted the game and had all the AFC clubs played a full 17-game regular season. Those circumstances involve Buffalo or Cincinnati qualifying for the game as a road team are listed below. Buffalo and Kansas City both win or both tie. A Buffalo's versus Kansas City championship game will be played at a neutral site. Scenario number 2, Buffalo and Kansas City both lose and Baltimore wins or ties. Buffalo versus Kansas City championship game will be played at a neutral site. Buffalo versus and Kansas City both lose and Cincinnati wins. A Buffalo or Cincinnati versus Kansas City championship game will be played at a neutral site. And then scenario number 2, if Baltimore defeats Cincinnati week 18, it will have defeated Cincinnati, a divisional opponent, twice, but not able to host a playoff game because Cincinnati will have a higher winning percentage for a 16-game schedule than the Baltimore Ravens will have for a 17-game schedule. If Baltimore defeats Cincinnati and those two clubs are scheduled to play in the wildcard game against one another, the site for that game will be determined by a coin toss. If Cincinnati wins the Week 18 game, or if Baltimore and Cincinnati are not scheduled to play one another in the wildcard round, the game sites will be determined by the regular scheduling procedures, which meaning Cincinnati is the AFC North champion. But now they will not necessarily have the benefits of being an AFC North champion, meaning they won't be necessarily able to host this playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens should it happen. And it's more than likely going to happen. As of right now, the playoff picture includes Baltimore versus Cincinnati, 3 seed versus 6 seed. And that will become a coin flip should it be. So weird things going on there. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this game preview. Now, the 7-9 New York Jets are eliminated from the playoffs. They're 4-4 away. Miami Dolphins are 8-8, 5-2 at home, and have a chance to put themselves in position to make the playoffs. Not saying that they're going to get in 100%, but right about now, they have a 50-50% chance. First thing they control is winning. They need to beat this New York Jets team. Second, they need the Buffalo Bills to beat the New England Patriots, and the Dolphins are in. It's pretty simple. Where things get complicated is what's going on with this Miami Dolphins team. Too much. Before I get into that, let's get into some gambling odds. So the spread is -3 in favor of the Miami Dolphins, +3 for the New York Jets. Money line +152 for the New York Jets, -180 for the Miami Dolphins. Over under set at 37 points. Now let's get into some injuries. So the New York Jets, we'll start off with them. Jordan Whitehead, safety, is questionable for hamstring injury. Brandon Ecolis, cornerback, is listed as out. Tight end CJ Uzama is questionable for ankle injury. Ashton Davis, safety, is questionable. George Fant, offensive tackle, is out with a knee injury. Dwayne Brown, offensive tackle, is out with a shoulder injury. Nate Heiberg, guard, is out with a calf injury. Mike White, quarterback, is out questionable with a rib injury. But Jets have already come out and stated that Joe Flacco is a starter, given if Mike White may be able to suit up, but I think they're going with Zach Wilson as their second string, which we'll talk more about that in a second. Laurent Duvernay, Tardif, guard, is questionable, and LaMarcus Joyner, safety, is out with a hip injury. Everyone else was either injured before their previous game against the Seattle Seahawks. Now the Miami Dolphins have quite the injury list as well. We have Teron Armstead, offensive tackle, doubtful with a toe/pectoral/knee/hip. Poor guy, just dealing with a lot of injuries throughout this season. Hopefully Dolphins next season can have him at full health. He's been dealing with this toe injury since week 1. Then he's been dealing with this pectoral injury since the 49ers game, or right before the 49ers game. This knee and hip injury sidelined him last week. So, there's things going on with Teron Armstead. He's just getting battered out there, poor guy. Hoping he can suit up, but doubtful it is. Eric Rose, safety, questionable with quadriceps injury. Alec Kingo, fullback, with a thumb. He had a cast on last week, and Skylar Thompson tried to throw into him. He's literally has one hand. Ball would have bounced off his clubbed hand. Would have been a mess. Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback, is questionable with a finger/knee injury. The knee injury has been around for a good part of the season. The finger injury, though, is something that's new that happened last week against the New England Patriots. The reason why he got taken out of the game. And Skylar Thompson finished it. Xavier Howard, cornerback, is questionable for knee injury. And Bradley Chubb, linebacker, is questionable for ankle injury. Cedric Wilson, wide receiver, is doubtful for hip injury. Tua is considered out with still in the concussion protocol. And Eric Fisher, offensive tackle, is on injured reserve. And then Kendall Lamb, offensive tackle, is doubtful with a ankle injury. Justin Zimmer, defensive tackle, is placed on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury. And that pretty much wraps it up for injuries. Now let's talk about what both teams have been going through. Both teams have lost their last 5 games, probably more. Not a good look for both teams. Both teams were, amongst the top seeds in the AFC playoff picture, and things have gone to the wayside for both of them. Now the Jets are officially eliminated from the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins have one shot to get it right. They've had chances for the last 5 weeks to get big wins, but what has the last 5 weeks shown you? That we can't compete against all these possible playoff teams. Understand Tua has been dealing with injury last week, so I wouldn't really count that game against us. But in all the other games, Tua was present and playing for. And I'm not trying to put it all on Tua. I'm just saying this whole season has been predicated on the success of Tua. Defense has not been playing up to expectations from the previous seasons. So that is another concern. But that being said, this is what both teams are averaging throughout the season. Jets are averaging 18 points a game. Dolphins are averaging 24. Jets are allowing 19 points a game. Dolphins are allowing 24.6. Total yards per game. Jets are averaging 346. Dolphins are averaging 383. The big difference here is 5 yards between them in rushing, 103, 95, so almost 10 yards actually. Passing game is a big difference, almost 40 yards there. 243 for the Jets, 288 for the Dolphins. Yards defensively allowed, Jets are allowing 330 they're allowing 330 defensive yards. Dolphins are allowing 365. 210 in the passing game, 119 in the rushing game for the Jets, 258 in the passing game, 107 in the running game for the Miami Dolphins. Now, all that being said, let's get into the keys. The keys are protect the quarterback. Protect the quarterback. I understand Teddy's injury is not really due to bad protection by the Dolphins' offensive line, but the fact of the quarterbacks that have been filling in for Tua have never finished the game this season. Against the Jets, first drive, Teddy gets called out for a concussion the week right after Tua gets called for taken off the field in Cincinnati. Skylar Thompson finishes the game. Against who? The New York Jets. Things went really bad, really fast at the very end of the game. Then, Skylar Thompson starts against the Minnesota Vikings. Hurts his hand. Teddy finishes the game. Then, last but not least, this past week, New England, Teddy starts the game. Skylar Thompson finishes it because Teddy messed up his hand on his pick six throw. It's 3 for 3. Let's not make it 4 for 4 because Teddy probably won't play. Tua 100% out. So who does that leave? Dolphins just signed Mike Glenn into the practice squad, and he's more than likely gonna suit up Sunday. Never in my life did I think Mike Glennon will be playing any downs for the Miami Dolphins. In my life. What's happening here, man? Playoff shot on the line and we're signing this guy. I'm pretty sure there's got to be someone else out there that could possibly be better, but whatever. Now, we got to protect Skylar Thompson, and God forbid if Skylar Thompson gets taken out of the game from an injury, got to protect Mike Lennon. Second, the running game has to be a crucial point on this Miami Dolphins offense. The running game will set up an explosive pass game, but they need to stick to the run game. So Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert need to be very efficient with their runs. Get 3+ yards each carry. That would be great. Phenomenal for the Miami Dolphins. And it will also set up play action down the field where Skylar Thompson can either scramble out and find the guy close or uncork one and hopefully find Tyreek, Waddle, or Gesicki deep. That would be big for the Miami Dolphins. Defensively, Joe Flacco, a.k.a. Joe Sacco, is starting this game for the New York Jets. Dolphins need to bring him down often, fast, and every chance they get, they need to capitalize on that. Now, on top of that, defensively, they need to limit this Jets backfield. Michael Carter is a pretty good running back. He's, not even leading the Jets in rushing. That's because Breece Hall was having such a sensational year before he went down. Breece Hall would have been in this game, I would have been mortified because the Jets damn near have. If Breece Hall never got hurt, Breece Hall would have been possibly the offensive rookie of the year, and then Sauce Gardner is battling with Tariq Woolen for defensive rookie of the year. So, pretty good draft for the New York Jets. They got 2 studs. They have a couple more guys who are pretty good there in terms of the draft class, but those are the 2 headliners of that draft class. With everything being said, protect the quarterback, run the ball, get their quarterback, stop the run. It's pretty simple. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully the Dolphins can punch your ticket to the playoff with a New England Patriots loss and a win for the Miami Dolphins. That's all we can hope for. Otherwise, Dolphins have no chance of making the postseason. And it'll be very, 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 very unfortunate. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Went over some of the news in the NFL, status update on DeMar Hamlin, and what the Dolphins can do to win this game and get close. Get so close to the postseason. We'll see. That being said, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.